Friday's first video for you with some new stories from Ethiopia and Eritrea. Before these new stories, we have two updates for you. It's very important that we keep our viewers updated. If we have corrections, if we have updates, we must keep our viewers well informed. Firstly, on Wednesday, I reported that some leaders of Oromo Liberation Front were due to appear at a court and their release was likely. But what happened? The OLF leaders were not produced at the court. The police did not take these OLF leaders to the court. Police and security institutions in Ethiopia are very powerful. They resist court orders. We have seen that court ordered the release of some political prisoners in the past. They were released. Immediately they stepped out of the prison. They were again arrested. So security institutions are very powerful in Ethiopia. OLF leaders were not produced at the court. Second update is about Wolaita Zone Administrator Akililo Lima. I said that there were unconfirmed reports being shared that he had fled Wolaita and he had sought refuge, sought asylum in the US. The man is back in Ethiopia, in Wolaita. He is here in Ethiopia. It means that though he did disappear for some time, where was he? No one knows. But he is back in SNNPR. Now, some new stories. First one is a message from Ethiopian PM Abiy. Today, Ethiopian PM Abiy shared a message which is for the Muslims living in Ethiopia. What is this message about? Second news story is about OLA's response to UNHRC's statement. Yesterday, Michelle Bachelet, UN Human Rights Commissioner, spoke about Wellega massacre. Now, OLA has responded to what Michelle Bachelet said yesterday. Thirdly, Christian Tadele, who is a leader of NAMA, National Movement of Amhara political party, spoke just a few minutes ago. And what he said can be seen as controversial. Why is that? Whenever a community, a region is facing problems in Ethiopia, it starts calling for secession. It starts disowning Ethiopian identity. Fourthly, World Food Programme today released an alarming statement. World Food Programme has cut ration allocation for 700,000 Ethiopians in half. It means that half ration is being supplied to these affected people. Why is that? It seems that WFP is facing a shortage of funds. Fifthly, Yamane Gebremeskel, Eritrean Information Minister, a few hours ago, questioned the social media campaign with the hashtag of TigrayGenocide. He shared some screenshots with showing some tweets with this hashtag TigrayGenocide. What did he say? And last, viewers, US Senate Foreign Relations Committee a few hours ago passed a resolution condemning use of starvation, use of hunger as a weapon of war. A bipartisan resolution has been passed, sent to US Senate. The resolution is proposing sanctions on countries, on governments, individuals that are involved in using hunger as a weapon of war. Could there be sanctions on Ethiopian government as well? Which countries are mentioned in this resolution? Firstly, viewers, First news story is a statement by Ethiopian PM Abiy. Today is Friday. Muslims pray at mosques on Friday. And in connection with this day, PM Abiy has released a statement, which is a message for Muslim community living in Ethiopia. What did he say? PM Abiy says that Friday is a popular day for the Muslims. They purify their souls with forgiveness on Friday. They purify their clothes with fragrance on this day, and they gather at places of worship. Distinguished Muslims, I request you, I call on you to pray for peace in the country, to have a lasting impression on future generations. Let's stand together to make Ethiopia peaceful and prosperous. So PM Abiy is calling upon Muslims to pray for peace, prosperity in Ethiopia. Muslims have faced problems recently in Ethiopia. We have seen Gondar incident. More than a dozen were killed there. Some Christians too, but most of the killed in Gondar were Muslims. Then Wellega massacre, in which hundreds have been killed. Here again, Amhara ethnic group members, Muslims have been killed, some Oromos too. So his statement is addressing the concerns of Muslim community. On the other hand, Muslim organizations are accusing PM Abiy that he is interfering in the affairs of Muslim organizations. Ethiopian Islamic Affairs Supreme Council was being led by Mufti Haji Umar Idris. But a few days ago, we saw that a new faction emerged led by Sheikh Ibrahim Tofa, who is from Oromo. Haji Umar Idris is from the Amhara region. Now there are two factions, one led by Haji Umar Idris and the other by Sheikh Ibrahim Tofa. Government is reportedly backing Sheikh Ibrahim Tofa. Sheikh Ibrahim Tofa is interim chairman of Islamic Affairs Council, and he says that General Assembly appointed him as interim chairman, and Mufti Haji Umar Idris was not interested in holding a General Assembly for the election of new chairman. That is why General Assembly met in Sheraton Hotel, and Ibrahim Tofa was appointed as new chairman. So there are splits in Islamic Affairs Council. Mufti Haji Umar Idris supporters accuse PM Abiy directly that PM Abiy directly intervened and he is backing Sheikh Ibrahim Tofa because he is from Oromo region, though he has some support in the Amhara region as well. So while PM Abiy is urging Muslims to pray for peace and prosperity, he should work to unite Muslims as well. If government starts backing one faction, obviously it will lead to splits. So government should play a positive role. Government should try to bring the two sides together to make them talk. Or if the other side is going against the law, then government should take action. But it is said that Ethiopian government of PM Abiy is behind recent split seen in Ethiopian Islamic Affairs Council. His call for peace is commendable. Yes, Muslims, Christians, all living in Ethiopia should pray for peace, call for peace. But I have been saying, don't want to repeat things, that conflict resolution should be the priority of this government. Otherwise, whatever this government is doing, its projects, its mansions, its palaces, its legacy, green legacy projects, all will go down the drain. What you need is internal cohesion in Ethiopia first. Second news story is about a statement by Oromo Liberation Army, OLA's spokesperson today responded to a statement released by UNHRC yesterday. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet yesterday condemned Wellega massacre. She said that hundreds had been killed, some abducted as well, houses set on fire, and government should conduct prompt, independent and thorough investigation into the incident. Now, OLA has responded to this statement of UN High Commissioner. OLA says that Ethiopian government cannot be trusted to hold an impartial investigation. Secondly, it said that there have been several atrocities committed in Ethiopia which should be investigated. The investigation can only be conducted by a third party. It means whatever report Ethiopian Rights Commission or a government body will compile in coming days, it will be rejected by OLA. OLA wants some international body to investigate Wellega massacre. Thirdly, viewers, an Amhara politician just a few minutes ago shared a message, divisive message, I would say. This time of crisis needs the politicians to be mature. They should not create divisions. What is this politician saying? Who is he? His name is Christian Tadele. He is a top politician of NAMA, National Movement of Amharas. He is a member of parliament as well. Very vocal on issues related to Amhara region. The party NAMA is based in the Amhara region, opposition party, but sitting at the cabinet too. He says, I can't be ashamed of being Amhara and proud of being Ethiopian. So he's saying that if someone is ashamed of being Amhara, he cannot be proud of being an Ethiopian. He is saying that Amharas are being ashamed of, Amharas are ashamed of being Amharas. And the message is obviously has the background of Wellega massacre. Why is that whenever an Ethiopian community, an Ethiopian region has problems, conflicts, disagreements with other regions, with other governments, especially federal government, they start disowning Ethiopia. Immediately they start saying that Ethiopianism, Ethiopia is the cause of these conflicts. We are not Ethiopians, we are Amharas, we are Tigrayans, we are Oromos. The time of crisis needs maturity to come out of the crisis. But if you, in times of crisis, if you issue such messages, it means that people will be further polarized. These politicians should work to unite the people. If they have genuine concerns, they can talk and resolve these disagreements once and for all. I don't see Ethiopia disintegrate, viewers. People do not agree with me, but I personally don't see Ethiopia disintegrate. Amharas, Oromos, Tigrayans, for years will have to live together. You will see that. Because disintegration of Ethiopia will send shock waves across the region. Entire Horn of Africa will be disturbed. So no one in the Horn of Africa, no international powers want new states in Ethiopia. That is why personally I think that Ethiopia is not going to disintegrate. So while you know that you will remain part of Ethiopia, You're not going to secede. You cannot separate from Ethiopia. Why don't you start preaching unity, preaching cohesion? Such messages are good for political consumption. Political parties issue messages, but in the longer run, these messages are not constructive. They don't serve any constructive purpose. Now, isn't it ironic that Christian Tadele, who's a member of parliament of Ethiopian House of People's Representatives, head of this party, Balatemola, is Ethiopian Minister of Innovation and Technology. And he is ashamed of being Amhara, and he cannot be proud of being Ethiopian. Fourthly, viewers, World Food Program today released an alarming statement. Conflicts, a drought in Ethiopia has forced WFP ration cuts. WFP has cut the ration allocations in half for around 700,000 Ethiopians. These Ethiopian refugees are receiving only half of their nutritional requirements. I am not talking about those who are inaccessible. There are tens of thousands who are inaccessible. Aid is not reaching them. I am talking about those who are accessible. Even those are not being given full ration. Half ration is being given to them according to World Food Program. Why? World Food Program says that it is urgently in need of 470 million US dollars. International donors should step up their contributions. Around 20 million people in Ethiopia are in need of aid. In coming days, there could be a nutritional crisis in Ethiopia. It's looming, but WFP is not receiving required funding. Again, viewers, those who are inaccessible, they are dying because they are not receiving anything. Those who are accessible, they are receiving half of what they require. Alarming statement from World Food Program. Yes, international donors should step up their contributions to fund WFP. Fifthly, viewers, Eritrean Information Minister a few hours ago lashed out at TigrayGenocide, which was a social media campaign, Twitter campaign launched by Tigray activists. Still we see tweets, messages with hashtag of TigrayGenocide. And we do know that both Tigray and Ethiopian governments, they have launched hundreds of social media users. Ready-made messages are sent. Social media is being used by both parties as a platform for promoting their narratives. And several tweets are ready-made tweets, which are just shared, received, shared, received, shared. Yemane Gebremeskel says that TPLF's, quote unquote, TPLF's wickedness knows no bounds and has no documented parallel precedents in history. He further said that on the 3rd of November 2020, TPLF started war. And immediately after that, Tigray activists started sharing messages with the hashtag TigrayGenocide. He has shared screenshots you can see on your screen. These screenshots have been shared by Yemane Gebremeskel, and these tweets, messages were shared on the 4th of November 2020. So he seems to be implying that TigrayGenocide social media campaign is fake. It was launched right on the day Tigray, according to his tweet, Tigray started a war on the 3rd of November. How is that on the day when the war started, genocide of Tigrayans started? It means that the campaign was pre-planned. The war was pre-planned by Tigray. Well, I think before the start of the war, Tigray was complaining that it was being denied funds, that it was being denied representation. So there were problems before the war as well. As regards these campaigns, both sides are using social media. I think some news outlets a few months ago shared details that there are several websites being run by Ethiopian government and Tigray backed activists where ready-made messages are available. They are sent to some users who share these messages on social media. So both sides are using social media as a tool for promoting their narratives. Lastly, viewers, US Senate Foreign Relations Committee has passed a new resolution. The resolution condemns the use of hunger as a weapon of war. And this resolution is proposing sanctions on the individuals and the governments who are using hunger as a weapon of war. It is a bipartisan resolution, and name of the countries which are mentioned where hunger is being used as a weapon of war are firstly Ethiopia, secondly South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and Russia as well. Focus seems to be on Russia. The resolution states that in Ethiopia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, warring factions are engaging in willful destruction of agricultural goods, infrastructure, manipulation of market, imposition of security and bureaucratic barriers upon humanitarians, leading to starvation of civilians. And Russia is taking this starvation campaign globally. So the senators are proposing sanctions upon these governments, upon the individuals, upon the groups based in these countries. What will happen now? The resolution will be submitted to US Senate, where it could be put to vote. We know that in March, this same committee passed a resolution named S3199. The resolution proposed sanctions on those groups in Ethiopia which were involved in hindering peace process, those entities, those countries which are providing weapons to Ethiopian government, and it urged international financial institutions to stop all loans, grants to the governments of Ethiopia and Eritrea. What happened? The resolution is still at legislative calendar of US Senate. It has not been put to vote. March. It was passed in March, I think. So 3 months have passed and so far no action on S3199. Now a new resolution which will be sent to US Senate. What will happen there? We don't know. If the target is Russia, then we could see some prompt action on this resolution. Otherwise, it will be like other resolutions which are at legislative calendar of Senate waiting for further action. Thank you for watching.